everybody, welcome back to my channel. You are in the right place if you are looking for low carb diet recipes, tips, tricks, and just whatever I come up with for my videos. Today is going to be really special because I'm sharing a recipe with you guys. So I know, just like you guys, when you're looking for a recipe to eat for dinner, sometimes keeping it low carb can be a little bit difficult, and there's only so many recipes inside my head. So of course I'm going online trying to find something new and exciting that I can maybe recipe test and see how I like it. Well, this recipe, I actually have been making this recipe for probably, I would say, since the very beginning of my low carb journey, which is almost more than 3 years ago now, actually. And it is a pan-seared chicken and olive recipe. Now, this is not my recipe. This is Geoffrey Zakarian's, and I really love it. Not only is it simple, it has so much flavor and pretty much no carbs. So come along with me. That's the recipe I'm going to be showing you guys how to make today. It's going to be awesome. So let's get started and I'll show you some of the ingredients. For the ingredients, they're going to be split into two categories: the marinade for the chicken and then the pan sauce. For the marinade, you'll need olive oil, pounded chicken breasts, fresh chopped parsley, shallots, and garlic. For the pan sauce, you'll need cherry tomatoes, dried basil, extra virgin olive oil, more shallots, Kalamata olives, some red wine vinegar, chicken broth, Dijon mustard, salt, pepper, and extra parsley for garnishing. Okay, so first things first. This recipe is great just the way that it is, but I like the pan-seared topping part, and I don't want to make this for 4 people, so instead I'm just using 2 chicken breasts today, and I'm making it just for me and Jay. So this is like a perfect dinner for us. The toppings, you're gonna have a little bit extra because it's for just 2 people instead of 4, and I feel like this works perfectly because who doesn't love more tomatoes and olives? So that out of the way, first thing we need to do is get our chicken marinating. What I like to do is use a small bowl like this, and then just a resealable plastic bag, freezer bag, and put the chicken right in. Now this is pounded already, so it's nice and thin, and it's ready, literally ready to go. To pound out your chicken breasts, you're going to want to put them on a cutting board, put a piece of plastic wrap on top, and using the flat side of the meat mallet, you're going to just literally pound the chicken, get your aggression out, and I like to use pounding motions from the middle and come to the outer part of the chicken. This seems to work the best for me. Once they're pounded out pretty thin, not to the point where they're broken apart, you are ready to go. In here, I'm going to add in my shallot, my garlic, and my parsley. And the recipe calls for half of a cup of olive oil. I feel like that can be a lot sometimes, and I don't like to waste olive oil because it's expensive. So what I'm going to do really quick is just take the bag out of the bowl, and I'm only going to use the amount of oil that I really need. So it's not going to be as much as the recipe calls for, and I have a little less chicken. So instead, I'm going to start with about 1/4 cup and then just get this moving. And as you can see, there still is a little bit of oil pooling on the bottom, but not a lot. We're not wasting it. So that's exactly the amount that I want, just about 1/4 cup, which I think I can spare. So now that that is done, I'm going to follow the recipe, leave this on the counter for about half an hour and let it marinate, let all those flavors get going with the chicken. It's going to be great. In the meantime, I'm going to show you what we're going to serve this with, which is a nice and easy salad. His salad's a little bit more complicated. Mine, a couple shortcuts, and you will be there quicker than you can even believe. So let's put this aside and we'll start prepping the salad. First shortcut is a salad packet lettuce blend that you get from your grocery store. Mine is radicchio, endive, and escarole blend. It's amazing and it really holds up to all these ingredients. You're gonna wanna salt and pepper the salad first. Then I like to use Parmesan cheese. This makes the salad so much better and it gives it that nice salty bite from the Parmesan. Sprinkle a couple tablespoons right on top. And then for the dressing, I'm going to use balsamic and oil. I like to take my balsamic and just sprinkle it right on top of my lettuce. And then same thing with the oil, about 2 teaspoons for this whole lettuce bowl. This is the perfect salad every time. Then you're going to want to take some utensils and toss this baby together and refrigerate it until you are ready to eat dinner. This is going to be perfect. Now that our chicken is done marinating, and we already prepped our side salad. It is time to put this whole thing together. It is literally super simple from this point forward, and we'll be eating in no time. In my skillet here, it's a large skillet. This is over 12-inch skillet. There is 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm using a little bit more than his recipe, but I think I need it, so that's what I'm gonna do. Also, we have our chicken. Now, you don't need this marinade afterwards, so I'm going to try to pull this out without taking too much of the marinade out with me. If you get a couple pieces of garlic and everything and parsley, that's totally fine. Once this skillet is nice and hot, over medium high, I'm gonna take my chicken and lay it in there. And now these are gonna cook for about, I would say, 3 minutes to 4 minutes per side. I'm going to check and see how they look at 3 minutes, and if they need another minute, I'm gonna leave them on there. I pounded this one pretty good, so this one is going to be a little harder to get out. Whoop. There we go. So you can salt your chicken while it's marinating. I actually prefer to salt and pepper my chicken while it's in the skillet, just so that I can evenly distribute the salt and pepper. I don't want it to get all in one spot and on another. So I'm gonna salt and pepper this side, and then once I flip it over, I will do the same thing to the other side. Then you're gonna need to prep your cherry tomatoes. Add in the dried basil and the chopped garlic to your tomatoes. Season it with a little sprinkling of salt and also a little sprinkling of some black pepper. Then you're gonna wanna toss this together just lightly to get everything combined. And then you're gonna wanna set this aside. You're gonna need it in just a few minutes. Then for your chicken, flip it over to the second side, and you wanna sear the other side as well and get some nice brown color on it. This should take about 3 to 4 minutes, but it could take longer depending on how thick your chicken is. After it's done, remove it to a plate and just tent it with a little bit of tin foil. So we have about 2 tablespoons of oil here left in the pan. That's exactly what we want. You can leave it like this because all of this is gonna be incorporated into this awesome topping / sauce that we're gonna do. You wanna lower your heat to about medium. Now we're gonna add in shallots that I already have chopped, along with our Kalamata olives. These are also roughly chopped. I'm gonna stir these around for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then we'll move on to the next step. Next is the vinegar. I'm using red wine vinegar because I always have it in my pantry. The main recipe calls for sherry vinegar, but I feel like I never have that, so I find that red wine vinegar works perfectly, and I'm gonna use that today. So this is gonna deglaze our pan. Go right in with your spatula and scrape all of those yummy bits off the bottom. Whew, this looks amazing. All right, see how clean our pan is now? That means that our sauce is gonna be infused with all of the flavor from the chicken, which is great. Okay, we're gonna let some of that vinegar burn off, and then we're gonna add in the chicken stock. Now we're gonna let this come to a simmer, start to bubble up, and then you want it to reduce by about half. And I find that that takes about, once it starts bubbling, about 2 maybe 3 minutes, but it doesn't take long. So I'm gonna monitor this. Once it gets to the point of being reduced by half, we're gonna move on to the next step, and we are this much closer to eating. Okay, reduced by half, we're good to go to add in our Dijon mustard. Now I'm gonna add this in and then give it a quick stir. You kind of want it just to melt this into the sauce. I'm gonna do that with my same spoon because it just makes it easier to get everything off of that spoon. Right. This just takes the sauce to a new level with flavor. It's so good. All right, mustard is all mixed in. Now here comes our tomatoes that I previously mixed with the dried basil and the garlic. And what I want to do is, I don't like when my tomatoes are really cooked and the skin gets soft and everything. I still like them to be kind of like still have a bite to them. So I'm just going to drop these in and then stir them around for maybe 10 seconds, not as long as it says to in the recipe. And I'm going to then turn my heat off, and then we'll be able to get this whole dinner put together onto a nice pretty platter. Turning the heat off. All right, let's get back to the island. I'm about to bring these over to the dinner table so me and Jay can have an amazing low carb dinner. But first, I'm gonna taste this for you guys because I wanna just tell you how amazing it is. I'm gonna grab a piece of chicken, an olive, and a tomato. Make it this way, it'll be perfect every time, I promise. You would never believe how much flavor you can get in a sauce from some vinegar, some Dijon mustard, and a little bit of chicken stock. So thank you, Geoffrey Zakarian, because you really helped me tonight for the inspiration. Let me go in for a little bite of the salad. And just a little bit of balsamic goes a long way on a big salad like this with these really nice hearty leaves. I gotta go. This literally is gonna disappear in minutes. If you wanna get this recipe, my version, I'm gonna put it in the link below. I will also put the original version as well from the Food Network website. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm gonna be sharing tons of recipes, tons of videos this year, all about how to survive in a low carb lifestyle. Also, in the links below, I'm gonna include the calorie information and the carb information as well for you guys so you can see that. And then I'll also put a couple links to my other videos just in case you wanna see anything else that I've previously done. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day and I will see you all soon.